Welcome. I'm your host, Rohene Bouajram. I'm on a mission to redefine the faces of leadership through speaking, consulting, and writing. Unspeakable Leadership is a space to reclaim our stories and empower each other to see the value in how we, as women of color, lead. Whether you're aspiring to be a leader or currently in a leadership role, I hope you'll join me on this journey of unpacking experiences, lessons learned, sharing laughs, and likely a tear or two. Let us grow together in conversation. As I close out the season, I am filled with a bittersweet mix of emotions. The same emotions that I have felt countless times in taking the next step forward while yearning for what I've left behind. Perhaps you too have felt this tug at your heart, the ache for the familiar in the midst of the excitement of the new. I'd like to share with you a little bit about Ambuya Joyce. This was the first person who introduced me to the magical world of storytelling. Ambuya is the Shona word for grandmother. As kids, we would see Ambuya Joyce once a year when we would all gather together as cousins as part of school holidays to spend time with our grandparents. Each day during those summer holidays were filled with non-stop games like pada or hopscotch, creative projects that involved paint and mud, and the afternoons would be spent rehearsing for the play that we would put on that evening or during the weekend whenever we could have a captive audience. Who was often the artistic director of these plays? Well, you guessed it, none other than me. Our nights would end with a story from Ambuya Joyce. My favorite one was the race between the hare and the tortoise. There was a hare who ran the fastest in the town, Ambuya Joyce would start off. The hare was known to be the winner of every single race. One day, the tortoise asked to be in the race, making them the laughing stock of the town and on the receiving end of the hare's torment. As much as the tortoise's friends tried to persuade them not to race, the tortoise was adamant. So when the day came for the race, at the starting point stood the hare and stood the tortoise. With a click of a gun, the hare ran, leaving the tortoise far in the distance. And after a few moments, the hare, recognizing that it was a done deal that they would win, decided to take a nap, knowing that even with a nap, they would easily race past the tortoise. So the hare took a nap, and the tortoise raced at the pace so slow that it would often make us kids yawn at this point in the story. But then Ambuya Joyce's face would light up and her voice would raise as she shared with us how, to the hare's surprise, they were woken up from their nap by a commotion and found out that the tortoise had crossed the finish line. The tortoise had won the race. We would cheer so loudly, so happy, that this seemingly unrelatable character became the underdog for us to champion. And then the questions would ensue, and Ambuya Joyce would provide a profound response to each question that would quieten our minds just before we slept. One night, I asked, Ambuya, what does this story mean? And she said, Rohene, your journey and path to doing anything is yours alone. And whatever your pace or gifts may be, don't waste your time competing with others. Stay focused on your goals, and you alone will succeed. I eventually ran my own race in 2019 when I completed my first half marathon.
And we'll have possibly the final race of the day. Yes, indeed. You can see that there as well. And Rohene Bouajram out of Vancouver is that person, the 35-year-old. She had one goal, which was quick to the line, and to get a sub 3-hour clocking. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
When I crossed the finish line as the last runner, yes, last runner, I carried with me the spirit of Ambuya Joyce, the belief that my pace, however slow, was enough. This podcast is another reflection of the power of persistence, of staying the course, even when the finish line seems distant. But this journey has not been mine alone. To each guest, Sarah, Dara, Lavon, Ariana, Priya, and Aftab, thank you for sharing your story, your truth, and in doing so, you have illuminated parts of leadership and a way forward for others in what sometimes feels like an unfair and rigged race. To Michaela Motoni, your guidance and unwavering support has pushed me beyond my limits, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me bring the vision of unspeakable leadership to life. And lastly, thank you to you as a listener. Every listener has journeyed with me. Lent me your ear, your time, and your heart to really hear what I have hoped is a shared experience and a call to be interconnected, even if right now it doesn't feel this way. So as we reach the end of this season, I invite you to pause, rest, and nourish your soul. Like any race, this part is so deeply important. Until we connect again in season 2, take care of yourself, always. And remember, my sister, your pace is your power, your journey is your own. Embrace it, cherish it, and may it lead you to places beyond your and our ancestors' wildest dreams.